There's a little abandoned house by the lake a few miles from here. Some family used to come every summer to swim and enjoy the country for a few weeks. But the children grew up and went away to college, and the parents never traveled anymore. So no one had come in over a decade. Bobby Sue didn't know that when she ran away from her stepdad just after her 16th birthday. She just needed a place to sleep out of the rain. She just wanted a quiet place where no one would find her, and she'd be safe from the belt and angry temper that her mom had married. When she stumbled on the little lake cabin, she only meant to spend the night. Even though the house had a thick coat of dust on everything, still you never knew when someone might come back. But Bobby Sue had been coming down with a cold for a day or two, and that night she got a fever and felt so sick the next day that she couldn't even get up without her head spinning. It was 2 days before she could sit up and sip from her water bottle. Later that same day, she went to the kitchen and rummaged around in the cabinets before finding a can of soup. It was old, but not rusted, so she hoped it would still be edible. Once she figured out how to light the burners on the propane stove, she heated the soup and left the fire on to take the chill out of the cabin. Bobby Sue settled on the old soft brown sofa with a comforter wrapped around her and enjoyed her bowl of hot chicken soup. She wondered if her mom was worried about her, or if everyone was just glad she'd finally gone. Most of the screaming was done at her, so maybe mom could have a little peace and quiet now. What if they didn't even miss her at all? What if it really had been all her fault that everyone was so stressed out and angry? Maybe she really was a burden, like her stepdad said. He'd told her often enough how she needed to shut her mouth, that she was too disrespectful, that she was just another mouth to feed, and always needing something. Shoes, clothes, girl stuff. It was better this way, she thought. Better for her, better for them. It occurred to her that she'd need to get her own food and clothes now. How would she be able to do that? She knew there were some fruit trees in the area that she could pick from. She might be able to grow food, but that took time, and she wasn't even sure she could stay here long enough to start a garden. She let the comforter trail on the floor behind her as she went to check out the kitchen again. The fridge was completely empty. Same with the freezer, but the electricity had been off for a while, so obviously someone had planned it that way. There were some packaged beans and rice and lots of canned food that still looked fine. She'd have to find some fresh food soon. Maybe she'd better try to keep walking somewhere else. Maybe a nearby town would be easier. She'd done babysitting before, and one of the neighbors had paid her $10 to rake their yard last year. She could do that kind of work again. She was old enough to work in a grocery store, but just the idea of asking made her nervous. With the courage and optimism that only comes with the ignorance and innocence of youth, Bobby Sue made a decision. There was no way she was ever going back to face her stepfather. She was grown. She needed to start acting like an adult now. She would stay here in the little lake cabin for a few more days, and then head south to the city to start her new life.